Hello, this is Strategy Miscellany, and this is episode 2 of our Terra Invicta campaign as the Servants. It is April 2023. I have set everyone on their missions here. So Jody here is trying to take more control in the Gulf states as a source of income, basically.
Acknowledged.
Elena is doing a public relations campaign in India to gain support among the populace.
Where to?
Bensari, who is actually a woman, I misspoke earlier, is trying to inspire Milena to remain aligned with the cause, and
Standing by
Wanjun
for orders.
is attempting to take this control point in South Korea, the one representing the legislature from the Humanity First faction. So we will see how this goes. I will let you know if there's any big events. Otherwise, I will give you your next report in, let's see, a quarter away from April would be July. Yep. So it'll be April, July, October, January, and so on from there. And basically, my strategy right now is I'm going to attempt to take India. And then I'm going to have to give up my control in some of these smaller nations in order to hold on to both India and the Korean Peninsula at the same time, given the amount of control points that I have at present. So, I will begin. I'll let you know when something interesting happens. So this, by the way, is a couple different ways you can increase how good your counselors are. So they've gained experience over time, and you can use that to give them different traits or bonuses to their stats. So for example, I can make Milena here a little better at persuasion, and I'm going to do that. In the long run, I need to make her better at administration so she can have organizations controlled by her to improve her further, which I can do here for Bansari, you see. I don't have enough XP to augment her stats directly, but I can give her one of these organizations that give her additional missions, stat bonuses, sometimes monthly incomes, or sometimes bonuses to investment in different things. Like this one gives bonuses to space mining, economy, and spoils, just if we own it and have it attached to a counselor. So I'm going to attach Thea Extraction to Bensari here. Doesn't really give her any stat bonuses, but it gives us some bonuses collectively. Wanjun here I can give an actual stat bonus to. I'm going to increase her administrative capacity so we can continue giving her organizations. And I'm going to head to attach Akamar Investigations and allow her to do more investigation type work. She's already good at that. The scientist, I can improve her investigation also. And that's everybody for now. Well, I might as well attach this intelligence group also to Bansari. And there, now my counselors are a little bit better at their jobs. So we just investigated the alien abductions and finding that many animals and humans are disappearing. And now we want to research alien methods and find out more about what they're doing exactly.
Mission cancelled. We've got our people in place.
And we just took a control point in India. We're finally cracking that door. So this is an important step here. We've just completed collectively Mission to the Moon, which means that now we can start sending probes to the moon to look for resources there and then actually land moon bases there and try and mine resources from it to jumpstart the space economy. Now, the moon is not super productive for some things. There's not much water up there, and it's not as good a place to start your space economy from as, say, Mars or Ceres, but it's extremely close. And so it's a good place to start from anyway. So it is July, time for our quarterly update. We do have both of the Koreas under solid control. They are allied together, and I should be able to begin actual unification quite soon. It looks like I can actually form a federation between them now, and about a year after that I should be able to do an actual unification of the peninsula. Meanwhile, we have taken over India. There are still two control points by Project Exodus, but we have the majority of the points, and we have control of the executive. So we control the nuclear weapons, the armies, and the balance of their boost and economic output. Now, it's expensive to control India, so we've had to basically put a lot of our nations at an abandoned status, which means they're more easy for someone else to come take over, although we still get the benefits from them until someone actually goes ahead and does it. So our points in the Gulf states are that way, our points in Oman, our points out in Portugal, and even our points in Sri Lanka and Myanmar, although I should have enough to be able to hold on to at least one of those two without going over the cap, because my cap has gone up a little bit. So the next steps here are continue clearing out India, invest in boost. In India is probably the best because it's closer to the equator, and so the boost works a little better because of that launch bonus you get. And at some point, set up an actual base on the moon. So let me take a look at Luna here. And yes, I can launch a prospector probe. I have enough boost for that. So let's go ahead and do that. And in 19 days, we'll actually know what exactly these sites contain instead of just having estimates. And we can try and pick a good one to put a base on. It will require 4 boost, it looks like, to do so. But that should be doable before too long. Right now we're gaining 2.4 boost per year, but there should be some orgs we can get that can help with that, and our countries are adding more boost at the same time. So we're starting to step into the space race just a little bit. We've got one of our major powers under lockdown, or on the way towards that anyway. Got to clear the protectorate out of South Korea too. And eventually, once we have enough control, I want to come for Japan, add that to our sphere. But our place in the world is starting to settle down. I will update you at the 1-year mark in October. So we've now set up globally Deep System Skywatch, meaning we can actually see where the aliens are. And you can see we found some out in the Kuiper Belt. They've got bases around Quaoar and on it. And we actually provided enough to this one that we can decide the next technology. And I'm looking here. I don't really know the technologies well enough to know exactly what to get, and I don't really want humanity to get a bunch of space weapons and use them to shoot at the aliens. So I think I'm actually going to do a rival sociology here, which will let us start to put independence movements in big countries that other factions control. Well, there'll be another tech after this one, but that's the long run plan. You can see we are researching Mission to Mars. I mean, we're not doing much of it, but Mission to Mars is being researched and will enable us to start looking there for colonization too. And now we get an important event because we've seen that the aliens have a bunch of military stuff out in the outer system. And so the people who were with the Academy thinking we could easily work peacefully with them, they've changed their mind a lot. They gain a lot of public, they lose a lot of public opinion which goes towards all the other factions. Roughly half their control points end up cracked down for half a year, meaning they're easy pickings, or actually for a full year, not just half a year. Everybody's cohesion swings around. It's a mess. But it does make us more popular because everybody moves towards extreme values, basically, on the public opinion scale, and we're at one of the extremes. And our probe made it to Luna. So once I have the boost for it, we're going to claim one of these sites. Maybe Copernicus Crater. It would be nice to have so many fizzles there. Possibly, though, also Piri Crater here, which has nice water supplies. One of those two. Maybe both. And that'll be our first step into space. It's tempting to start by just, building a space station around Earth, but until you've got a space-based economy, it seems like that's not really that effective. That's a trap I fell into with the Protectorate, it seemed like. And we have the chance to recruit another counselor. I think I'm actually going to pick... I'm just looking here. Well, this astronaut would be good because he can actually go and attack enemy space assets if necessary. Or try and take them over. He can't do that much else useful on the ground. He can inspire and make diplomatic claims. But I'm going ahead and pick him. He's got good administration. Got pretty good stats overall. So we now have our 5th counselor. So here I'm going to try and make a deal with the Academy, basically for a non-aggression pact. If they're willing to offer that, which it looks like they're not, unfortunately. So let me see if maybe I can buy some boost off them. So I'm going to offer them $1,000 cash. See if I can get a little boost for it. Basically buying a place on their rockets. Okay, looks like the most they'll sell me is 2 boost. But I can probably buy that off them for a reasonable price. $900, they'll buy that. All right.
Securing our control.
So now I've got 2.4 boost, and I'm a lot closer to getting up to the moon with a base.
We're winning their hearts and minds.
The people will come to our side.
So our new objective is to try and investigate alien activity when the aliens are doing sneaky things so that we can actually talk to them and see what's going on. I don't know why we think they'll talk to us necessarily, but we'll give it a try. And we have the Path to Paradise project to attempt to align with the alien goal. So here I've got an org that gives Milena a boost to administration. So that way we can actually give her more organizations to control in the future, even though her base admin is very low. All right, it's October, time for another quarterly update. It's been approximately 1 year since the aliens showed up, and we have still 3 of 5 control points in India, kind of waiting for the Project Exodus to not have the time to defend these for a minute so we can snap them up. We haven't really lost any of our abandoned control points, and actually we're able to lock down the Gulf states here. And we are gaining more control point capacity, so we should be able to hold on to everything we currently have, I think. We have put the Koreas in a federation. In about a year, they'll be able to officially unify. And we are slowly collecting enough boosts so that we can actually build a moon base. Let me take a look at that here. Looks like the Academy might already have one. So one of the sites has been taken. But Copernicus Crater with all those fissiles is not taken yet. Now it looks like we'll actually need 9 boosts to get up there. So it's going to take a minute, but that's okay. We didn't pick the most boost intensive right from the start strategy, I will admit that. We have found a Humanity First counselor who we're currently spying on and might be able to detain them, basically prevent them from doing any missions, maybe even convert them to our side, although that seems unlikely. Meanwhile, let's see, Russia is divided. Looks like the initiative controls France. Doesn't look like anybody has cracked the US or China yet, I don't think. Yeah, but nobody's cracked those two. Oh, we did also get a free point, basically, in Guyana, where basically the aliens just showed up and gave us control over Guyana without us really having to do anything. That's one of the advantages of working with the aliens. It's not really that useful for our strategy, so I kind of just have it running a little bit of spoils and trying to stabilize the country otherwise. But in the long run, it could be useful if nobody takes it from us by then. And our annual boost is up to 4.4 and growing all the time as we continue to pour more into it in both India and in the Koreas. And we do have sufficient mission control to run a couple of stations. Eventually, we'll be able to build mission control on stations so that we can totally divorce the need for Earth-based mission control, but that's a long ways away. So, I'll set up my assignments. I will report to you in January of 24. So here I'm basically bribing the initiative to stay out of my business, starting a non-aggression pact with them.
Protecting our interests.
I don't see any reason we and they should really have much to fight about. So, time for our January mission. One of our counselors got imprisoned. It was kind of a wacky story, really. She was forced to work for the Chinese government in order to sabotage India, so she was actually arrested by our own organization. I'm not sure why I couldn't just let her go, but apparently I couldn't. Must have been some political thing. We are, as you can see, quite a bit over our control cap. I need to work on that. I got greedy and I took Singapore because it's an excellent source of funding, being such a rich little place. So I'm going to abandon Oman here and abandon Portugal if it's not already. Looks like it is. And I did abandon Guyana. So, see if that helps a little bit. Yeah, at least that's brought our influence income back to positive. I'm going to abandon Myanmar, too. It's not really part of our core goals. Alright, so that's a little better. Now, the good news is we're almost getting to the point where we can build that moon base. Let me take a look at the status of that here. So I could already build a station orbiting the moon, but there's not really much reason to do that. Unfortunately, it looks like the initiative took that totally sweet fissile site. So I'll have to settle for a Piri crater over here. And I'm almost there. Looks like another month and a half or so, and we should be able to build our moon base. And then not too long after that, we're going to have to send a probe out to Mars. Actually, I'm going to do that now, because it takes so long to get there. Eventually, in the future, we'll be able to use spaceships to prospect, and they'll be a lot faster. But for now, we got to send out these little probes that take like a year to get there. And we can hopefully claim a good site on Mars when we get there. I did disband one of India's armies because the running the armies gives sort of a strain on their investment points. And I figured at this point in the game, without any big wars going on, having two working armies was good enough, especially since they're fairly advanced technologically. And I also have the Koreas to help me out. I am going to lower the mission control priority on South Korea a little bit here, just so that it can spend more on giving better funding and boost. And in about another 9 months, I will be able to unify the Koreas. All right, I think that's a good time to close this episode, actually. Mid-January of 2024. I will get back to you in episode 3, and we will continue our quest to unify humanity under alien control. You can see we're working on this Path to Paradise mission here that will allow us to really talk to the aliens better, hopefully. We're about halfway through it. It'll be completed in August. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.